Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on time. And a warm welcome back to Directions Live Online. My name is Sharon Jin. I'm a manager of the Solution Engineering team in Esri, Singapore, and I'll be your host for today's session. Okay, so for today's session, we're going to go through the topic of ArcGIS Workflow Manager, and we're going to show you how you can use this product to streamline and integrate your various business processes within your organization. So we all know that every organization would have their own unique workflows, right? And having a system that is able to keep track of the status of each process and is able to enable some process automation is going to help you improve the efficiency across the organization. So I'm going to now let two of my team members tell you more about this product. And joining us today, we have Christian and Xinhui. So both of them are solution consultants with Esri Singapore. Christian has vast experience in leading multiple development teams and deploying many GIS projects over 25 years. And he has great interest in designing and developing innovative geospatial solutions. And Xinhui, her interest and expertise lies in the fields of urban planning and GIS, and she has many years of experience working with the Singapore's Urban Planning Authority. So let's welcome both of our speakers today.
Hi, happy to be here. Thanks, Sharon.
Xinhui?
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. Welcome everyone to the webinar. So for today's session, we will be sharing with you what is GIS, and we will be going through a quick introduction to the ArcGIS Workflow Manager. Next, we will then dive into 3 demos to showcase how ArcGIS Workflow Manager can help to automate and increase efficiency within your business workflows. And lastly, we will be sharing some of the resources for you to get started. So if we think back to our own business processes, many workflows require multiple parties to work in succession to complete a task. So we can imagine this business workflow where an organization receives feedback from the public, for instance, of a faulty street light. So after the feedback is submitted, it goes to the registry, where a registry staff may have to check who is managing the area and assign the feedback to him or her based on the location. And next, the person in charge will then have to evaluate the feedback with additional information. The person in charge may have to prepare a report of the follow-up actions required, as well as to draft a reply to the feedback provider. Next, the report may need to be reviewed and edited by a supervisor before finally the person in charge will send the final reply back to the feedback provider. So this is just one out of many workflows that can be made better using ArcGIS Workflow Manager. So we can see at the first arrow that there is a bottleneck due to the manual work assignment by the registry staff. And where there is a high volume of feedback, the registry staff might not be able to cope with assigning them to the correct person in charge in an expedient manner. And this may lead to delays in issue resolution, especially for urgent or time-sensitive feedback. And secondly, when the feedback reaches the person in charge, he or she might need to bring in multiple sources of information, such as the details of the streetlight, past inspection records, maintenance team in charge of the area, and other feedback received in the vicinity, in order to determine what are the follow-up actions required. This information usually has a location factor and will be better visualized with the help of a map. And lastly, after the replies have been cleared and sent out, there is also a need to keep the records of the report and replies for an audit trail for future reference. ArcGIS Workflow Manager can help to address some of these challenges with the tools, which we will be demonstrating later. Location plays a very important role in many such workflows, and hence location also forms the key premise of GIS. To start off, let's begin by defining what is GIS. GIS, or Geographic Information System, is a system that enables us to create, manage, analyze, and map data. It integrates location data with descriptive information and is used to answer all sorts of questions across industries. and ArcGIS provides us with the tools to power such geospatial capabilities. ArcGIS is a comprehensive system that comprises of a geospatial infrastructure for an organization to store and manage data efficiently. It enables you to visualize your data on a map to identify patterns and trends across both space and time. It also provides analytical capabilities for you to perform location-based analytics and gain insights on your business datasets. As a system in itself, it can also be easily integrated with your other existing business systems as well. So we are all here today to learn more about how ArcGIS can help to enable your organization's workflows. So let me start by introducing ArcGIS Workflow Manager and its capabilities. Business processes are often quite complex and involve workflows which are specific to an organization. But if we abstract the process back to basics, these workflows often follow this 4-stage pattern, whereby work is submitted, it is reviewed, multiple parties work together to complete it, and the results are delivered. It is usually easy for such workflows to be completed once or even a few times. However, what happens when you try to scale it up to be performed hundreds or thousands of times? It will be difficult to maintain the same consistency and accuracy of the work. You can also consider what happens when old-timers leave the organization and newcomers join. A lot of time will then have to be spent on explaining and guiding the newcomers through the existing workflows and processes. And here is where ArcGIS Workflow Manager can come in. ArcGIS Workflow Manager is a scalable work management system that helps to streamline operations by managing people, processes, and products. We liken it to a conductor in an organization's ArcGIS environment, as it helps to synchronize tasks and processes between multiple stakeholders seamlessly. ArcGIS Workflow Manager can be deployed on both ArcGIS Enterprise and ArcGIS Online, and the deployment model is similar across both of them. There are 4 key components of the ArcGIS Workflow Manager. First, the organizational capability. This provides the functionality to design workflows, manage and track all jobs in the system, and complete the assigned tasks. And with the advanced capability, it will unlock even more ability to incorporate automation into the workflows through things like job and step scheduling and advanced email configuration options. Next, the web application is the main user interface where users will interact with the workflow. So this is where users can administer the workflow items and the workflows, manage their jobs, and perform their job tasks. In addition to this, there is also an extension for those users who are primarily working through the jobs on the desktop side within ArcGIS Pro. And lastly, we also have Python, REST, and JavaScript APIs available for you to extend the capabilities further. ArcGIS Workflow Manager takes the many challenges that organizations face when performing repeatable work, and it streamlines and automates the processes to release multiple benefits. First of all would be increase and improve data quality. Workflow Manager helps to maintain data quality and integrity by having a centralized system to manage work and spatial information, alongside the ability to build in quality control steps into every process. This ties into the next point. When an organization designs and uses a process that everyone can follow, it is predictable and can be easily monitored. It will become easier to identify problems when they arise. And knowing that everyone is working through the different job types in the same way will increase trust and reduce risks. And to be honest, nobody likes to spend their time doing boring and repetitive work. So by automating the tedious and manual steps, users can focus on those tasks that truly need their attention, and they will feel more satisfied and productive at work. Workflow Manager can also resolve issues with bottlenecks, process management, and workforce coordination through automation, resulting in an increase in productivity across the organization. And by capturing the business processes, we are also capturing the institutional knowledge that goes into it. This makes it easier to onboard new staff and make it less devastating to lose one. So at this point, you might be wondering, what makes ArcGIS Workflow Manager different from other work management software out there? To this, there are two main differentiators. First of all is our geographic approach, where we care about the work's location and we use the location effectively in GIS analysis and reporting. And secondly, this is the solution that is tightly integrated with ArcGIS technology. So you can pair ArcGIS Workflow Manager with other ArcGIS applications in order to make your workflows even more seamless. Here are some of the key features that are available within ArcGIS Workflow Manager. The workflow diagram allows for users to simply drag and drop components and stream them up to form their business workflows. And the location allows the users to define location-specific information, for instance, the job site boundary or the location of a feedback received. Next, work assignment allows users to configure routing or assign the task to other users within the organization. Dashboards are built in within ArcGIS Workflow Manager, and it allows tracking of the work progress. So managers are able to see the job status, which stage the job is currently at, and who the job is with. With work history, it allows users to view the jobs that have been completed and who completed it for an audit trail. Notifications such as emails can be configured to alert users when they have been assigned a task so that they do not miss out on any important work. And with geospatial data integration, users will be able to see and view geospatial data on maps within Workflow Manager, or they can access data collected by field workers out on the field for a more seamless workflow. And lastly, the workflows can be integrated with external systems through webhooks and web requests. We will be seeing some of these features in action during our demos later on. Now let me move on to the capability overview for Workflow Manager. The ArcGIS Workflow Manager Server Standard provides the capabilities of workflow design, desktop editing, task assignment, and job monitoring. And with the addition of ArcGIS Workflow Manager Server Advanced, you can unlock even more advanced capabilities such as job and step scheduling and web application integration. As mentioned earlier, ArcGIS Workflow Manager has a tight integration with other ArcGIS technology. So by pairing Workflow Manager with applications like Survey 123, ArcGIS Workforce, and ArcGIS Field Maps, we are able to cater for advanced data collection as well as field job assignment workflows. And by pairing Workflow Manager with ArcGIS Data Reviewer, we can build in quality control checks within the process. We can also use ArcGIS dashboards to create custom job monitoring dashboards for the workflows. And finally, we can also create custom web applications using the various APIs. So now I'll be heading over to Christian, who will be sharing about some of the use cases.
Thank you, Xinhui, for describing the components and capabilities. I'll be showing some of them in my demos, but before I jump in the fun part, let me introduce some of the use cases that can leverage on ArcGIS Workflow Manager. So this is not an exhaustive list, but will give you an overview of the diverse scenarios and applications that can be enhanced with Workflow Manager. In the following demos, I will showcase the first three, which is data submission, incident management, and editing in ArcGIS Pro. So let's start with the first use case, the data submission and review. In this use case, we have two roles, the submitter and the approval. The submitter will upload GIS or non-GIS document into the ArcGIS Workflow Manager, and the approval will review the data and approve it. This is the simplified view of the process. The submitter can add information, textual or geographical information about the documents. Then after that, add the documents into the system, and then send for the approval by selecting the available approval. The approval will receive the email notification, review, and approve the document. In case he rejects, the case will go back to the submitter to upload a new document. Now I'll jump into my demo. I'll switch to my environment. So as Xinhui mentioned before, there are three main tabs that you can access the Workflow Manager. The first one is to design your workflow. The second one is for the manager to review the existing cases and what was the progress, as well with some dashboards. And the last one will be the workpad where he receive or create jobs. So let's go back to the design mode. The GUI in design. So this is a list of existing diagrams. So I will choose my diagram, which is the document submission. As part of the GUI, on the left side, we have easy drag and drop tasks that we can add to the workflow. And on the right side, we have configuration for the workflow. So in our case, we created with different color. We have the submitter with one color. We have the reviewer with orange. And then we have with purple tasks that are done by the system. Okay. As I mentioned before, the user will upload the document, will be about the document upload. But the submitter also can input information about the current job. Then in case it's a normal Word document, will go directly for approval. In case it's a GIS document, needs to be uploaded to the system and then sent for the approval. In case it's a CAD document, we need to convert the CAD to GIS, then upload, and then send to the approver. Okay, then we'll be sending an email to the approver. The approver will review the data. In case he approves, then we'll have some post-processing and complete the task. In the same time, you see that on the top part, there is another branch of the workflow. So this is the automated part. So in case you receive data from an interface, you can have a geoprocessing task to receive the data and start the process, and then submit it directly for the approval. Okay, so with this one, we'll go into the task. So let's say I'm a submitter. I need to upload a document. I will select my use case. So I was at the step when he's creating a new job. So the first step will be the manual document upload. As I mentioned, there's two ways you can bring the data into the system, either through interface pull or manual upload by the submitter. So in the first step, we can put in some comments for the user. In our case, we'll ask him, in case he's using shapefile or CAD document, to zip the documents before uploading into the system. So the next step will be to proceed adding certain data about the job that we have. So in our case, we can add in metadata about the document, like what kind of data we are bringing to the system. In our case, will be a CAD file. Okay, so will be the CAD information for a new building that is built at Queensway. The source of the data comes from an external agency. The type is CAD file, and we add in some extra information about the data custodian. Okay, then the system will do behind the scene certain processing, and then will ask us to add the data into the system. So I'll switch to my zip file. As mentioned before, shapefile or CAD file needs to be zipped before upload. And then I'll proceed to the next step. The next step is a sample of decision making. So in this case, we'll choose whether it's a CAD, GIS, or document. As I mentioned before, this can go on different routes in terms of processing of the data. So in our case, it's a CAD document. We need to specify where is the building or where is the CAD document in order to make sure that the CAD document is geo-referenced and it's in the correct location. I'll zoom into my area, which is in Queensway. There I will define what is my construction area. So this will be my development area, and the CAD have to be within these boundaries. So when I'm processing the data uploading to the system, I can check whether it's in the correct coordinates. If it's not in correct coordinates, I can revert it back to the submitter. The next step, I want to check what is the availability for my approval. So the next sample is integration with a third party or ArcGIS portal application. So this GUI is on the top, you still see the panels for the workflow. On the right side, you see information about the current GIS task. However, on the left side, you will see a custom application that is integrated into ArcGIS Workflow Manager. So this application on the left is a sample of a HR application where you can check the availability of the approver, a supervisor. And then when you decide to assign, let's say, to Michael, then I can proceed to the next step. The next step, the application will email to the supervisor that request is in his mailbox. After it's emailed, the current user will not have the task anymore. So in my case, I will check my email. This is the email. Another step will be to create emails, define templates for the emails, and send it to the supervisor. I will switch to incognito mode and log in as a approver here, which is Michael. And when I switch to the work pane and refresh the page, I will see the new task that's been submitted to me. So after refresh, I see there is a task that is required my attention. Also from the email that I received, there was a link. If I click to the link, it will bring me to the same page. Okay, so next step, I want to review what data have been submitted for approval. As I mentioned, we can upload different types of information. In our case, the first one, Alice zip, it's a CAD document, and I can preview the CAD data. In the same time, I can upload also other types of documents like images, documents, and can download it as well. Okay, so I can decide approve or reject. In my case, I will decide to reject. If I reject, I will just fast forward a bit. I can put comments why I'm rejecting. In the same time, I can add at any point in the workflow, I can add further comments. After rejection, we'll go back, will be another email going back to the submitter that your case has been rejected and with the details. Then he will go to the same process of adding the document, the proper document, checking availability, send it again for the approval, and then at the end, the approval will review the data and approve the case. So with this one, the first use case is completed, the document being uploaded, being loaded into the system for the notification to the submitter review it and up. Okay, we'll go to the next use case. Let's continue with the next use case, which is incident management and site inspection. So this use case will integrate with the ArcGIS Workforce, and we'll have 4 different kind of roles. We have the submitter that can create a case based on, let's say, a complaint received from a public, or also can integrate with external system like a CRM system or IoT system to create new cases or new issues. And then the dispatcher will find the best suited field team to attend to the job based on their location or based on their skills, let's say. And then the signer responder will receive the notification via email or via phone notification. And then we'll drive on site, check the information, assist with the problem, provide further information for the management in the office. So these are the four cases, 4 roles in the workflow. So this is the overview of the process. The top part is executed as part of the ArcGIS Workflow Manager. The bottom part is integration with the mobile, integration through Workflow Manager with the Workforce, Survey 123, and ArcGIS Navigator. We'll go to the next stage. So the workflow part is quite straightforward. We'll create a job, then we'll use Workforce to assign the job to a ground team. Then after that, they will receive the notification, fill up a Survey 123. Okay, so let's start by creating a new job. So as part of the process, we want to transfer some of the information from the Workflow Manager, ArcGIS Workflow Manager, to Workforce Manager. So in our case, will be the job ID. We need to provide this job ID to Workforce in order to track the incident all the way through the process. Okay, so next step will be to go into the site inspection. Similar to what we've seen before, integration between a third party and a workflow manager, we have the same thing. On the right side, we have the job information. On the left side, we have Workforce, ArcGIS Workforce. So as part of the workforce, we select the category of incident, which is asset inspection. Then we provide the address, where is the problem, where is our asset. So in our case, will be the same area, 1 Queensway. So we'll click the asset location. Then we need to assign to a ground team. So I will still assign it to myself. Then set a priority and a due date. In the same time, I need to populate the ID that I just copied from the workforce ID. Okay, and then provide the description for the ground team. Such as description and job ID will be propagated also into the workforce. So the ground team can retrieve the instruction and also update the information in survey 123. This we'll see later on. So after we assign the team, we'll see a summary of the team. So now after it's done, I can click finish for my task. And then will still be an email submission. Then I can switch to my mobile. Okay, so on my mobile phone, I open the workflow application, ArcGIS Workforce application. So I can receive two types of notification via email or via phone notification. After I open the workforce and I need to be logged in with my account, either Enterprise or ArcGIS Online, I will see a list of incidents that have been assigned to me. I can click the incident based on the location and the system will zoom to where I need to travel and collect the data. I will receive the information submitted from the office, and then in the second, also below, we can see various options, such as opening the ArcGIS navigator, which can route me to the location, and create a survey 123 form, fill up a survey 123 form. So in my case, I travel to the location, I see what's the situation, then I will need starting updating the information in survey ArcGIS survey 123. ArcGIS survey 123 also have to be logged into Enterprise or ArcGIS Online. So under ID, you see some information coming from the workforce ID. So workflow populated into the workforce ID and workforce populated the information into survey 123 form in order for all three to be connected. So as I'm on the site, I start filling up information about the asset that I'm inspecting, providing information such as asset ID, defects, or other information. The number. We can also provide geographical information, rating, floor information, and when we are filling up the survey form, we can submit it into the system. So the form is ready. I will click the checkbox below and send the report to the server. So this information will be pushed into the ArcGIS server, and later on we can filter based on the job ID. So in the office, I can assign to a supervisor to validate the information, and the supervisor will retrieve the survey 123 form received from the ground based on the job ID that we provided. And then he can also continue to fill up the information into the survey form, or send it back to the ground team, or select another team to attend to the case later on. So with this one, we complete the second use case. The problem is fixed and the use case is. So moving to the last use case. The last use case will be for data editing in ArcGIS Pro. So how is the gathering of information from survey 123 integration with the ArcGIS Workforce as well? This workflow could then carry to be automated later on for data editing. So this presents workflow that may have editing tasks in Pro or on web or mobile. We're going to look at an example of a new hydrant, fire hydrant, and incorporating the edits in the Pro and web. So going back to the web page in the reviewer, we can check the survey 123 field information submitted from the field, and all the details are pre-populated to review on our web app. We can also add some more comments based on the review and then accept the submission. Okay, after that, the form will be saved and then we'll submit for editing to the editor. Now let's start ArcGIS Pro for the editor. and he has updated the organization data, and we can access the workflow pane from the top, and we can know the ribbon similar to the web page that we've seen before for the jobs. So we'll have the list of jobs there, and I can start my work by clicking run the first step. Once I click the step, he will automatically open the correct map and takes me to the work location. Then also repoints the layers if required, and open the ArcGIS task if I have any to assist me in editing. I can finish the job here, complete the remaining steps, and add comments if I want to for the next assignee. So I will add some comments what extra things needs to be added by the next one. So now let's start another job to see how the service-driven architecture can update on both sides in ArcGIS Pro and Web in the same start. So if we start a step in Pro, immediately we see on the left side that status is changing. And let's switch back to the original web. And we are going to be the quality control personnel that is going to edit the application. The Workflow Manager web can open the web apps with the integrated experience. So now we are doing editing, but on the web. We can populate the URL for the web form with job information that like location, version information, or other web parameter to be launched exactly in the location that we need, and can continue to work on the edits. After completing the web review, the system can also reconcile and post the updated version. This scheduling can be done manually or automatically, so I can schedule for automatic update. So this was a simple peek into a simpler workflow coming from the field, review on the web, incorporated in ArcGIS Pro, and do a quality control again on the web. It could also interact with the field directly through the ArcGIS Workforce, as we've seen in the previous use case. For more examples, we can search on YouTube the following: telecommunication and data networking. You will see some examples there. Okay. So this is the end of the use case number 3. So few takeaway as a summary. So for efficient process automation, ArcGIS Workflow can help streamlining the task, minimizing error, and ensure consistency throughout automated workflow. In terms of flexibility or scalability, ArcGIS Workflow Manager adapts to changing requirements or changing environment, scale seamlessly, and optimize process with evolving needs. If you have changes, dynamic changes in your process, SOP, we can easily change them and update it in real time. Okay. As for integration with third-party or portal application, ArcGIS Workflow Manager enhance collaboration, can accelerate workflow, and improve responsiveness across the teams. Okay, so I think this is my last slide. If I'm not wrong, I still have one, yeah. So what we managed to cover in this short seminar only scratched the surface, and there's a lot of resources out there that you can learn more. We compiled here a list of resources for these slides. So with this, I will hand it over back to Sharon.
Right, so let's kickstart our question and answer session for today. Okay, so we do have one question. The question is, if my organization already has ArcGIS Enterprise, does it mean that we will automatically have access to the ArcGIS Workflow Manager, or is it going to require additional licenses?
Okay, I think I can take that question. So thanks for this question. If the organization is already on ArcGIS Enterprise, then it would minimally require an additional license, which is the ArcGIS Workflow Manager Server Standard License, before you can access the Workflow Manager capabilities. So if your organization is currently on an EA or enterprise agreement with us, you might want to check with your account manager to see whether your current EA would cover the Workflow Manager licenses. And what I've described is forming the basic requirements for using ArcGIS Workflow Manager, but there are also additional licenses that you can get to extend this further. So for instance, if you want to use more advanced functionality, like the job scheduling or webhooks, then you can also get the ArcGIS Workflow Manager Server Advanced. And I think Christian earlier shared about using ArcGIS Pro extension to do data editing on the desktop. So if that's the case, then you might need to get the ArcGIS Workflow Manager for ArcGIS Pro. It's an extension for ArcGIS Pro. So it really depends on the needs of your organizations, and you will need to cater the licenses accordingly. So I hope this answers the question.
Okay, thanks, Xinhui. We do have one other question. The demo showcases an integration with Survey 123. Can an integration with ArcGIS field maps be done as well?
Yeah, take up this one. So yes, as part of the demo, we integrated to ArcGIS Workforce. So in the same way, the Survey 123 is integrated, the field maps will be integrated as well. As part of the Workforce, you can go to Advanced Settings, then you can configure what you want to link. So what will be the response team on the ground using? It's either Survey 123 or field maps. So you link to the field maps ID, and then after that you can map fields. What kind of information you want to transfer from the Workforce into Survey 123 or into field maps? So like just I shown before, the ID of the job is transferred from the ArcGIS Workflow Manager to ArcGIS Workforce to Survey 123. In the same way, this field will be mapped to be transferred to the other side. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Christian. One more question. I'd like to know what added functionality is there available with the ArcGIS Workflow Manager Server Advanced that is not already included in the standard version?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So like what I mentioned earlier, the ArcGIS Workflow Manager Server Advanced will provide more functionality, especially in the context of automation and job scheduling. So the specifics, we will need to refer to a functionality matrix, which we have linked in the resources slide. So that's where you can find the exact details of which functions are available in standard versus Server Advanced. But just off the top of my head, some of it are the automation ones, so job and step scheduling and advanced email templates, as well as the access to webhooks and web requests. Yeah, and then speaking of the functionality matrix, that is also where you can find information pertaining to the functionality that are available for each of the specific ArcGIS Enterprise versions. So for some of the earlier versions, it might not have certain functionality. So that's an important thing for you to check depending on your ArcGIS Enterprise version. Yeah. So thanks for bringing this up.
Okay, let's do two more questions before we end the webinar. We have one other question that asks, are we able to specify whether the processing is done on our terminal, which I assume is our laptop, or via the enterprise servers?
Maybe I take up this one. Okay, so in the last use case, we show how you can edit in ArcGIS Pro. However, the first and second use cases show how you edit on the web. So in case you are running a geoprocessing task, will be executing on ArcGIS Enterprise. In case you are doing in ArcGIS Pro, will be local. Yeah, I hope this one answered the question.
Okay, thank you, Christian. One last question also related to the processing of the whether it's being done on the server or the laptop. So does the Workflow Manager allow me to dictate which resource I use to do my image processing, whether is it using my ArcGIS Pro desktop or using the ArcGIS Enterprise GPU?
Okay, yes. So if you want the task to be executed locally, not on the server, then you just assign the task as in a name. You have to do this job and then maybe create an ArcGIS Pro task to help you with that. So there will not be geoprocessing on the server. It will be a local ArcGIS Pro task. You can define it both ways, on the server or on the desktop.
Okay, so that's all the time that we have today. Thank you so much for all your questions, and thank you to all who have joined us in our webinar today. And we really look forward to seeing you in our next webinar. Thank you.